I love money. So make sure you head over to patreon.com/Daily Detroit and support this show. Daily Detroit is brought to you by you, the listeners out there. So support us. And once again, go to patreon.com/Daily Detroit.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to your Daily Detroit. It is Thursday, March 6th, 2025. I am J.R. Stays, and joining me is the Prince of Brightmoor himself, Norris Howard. How are you?
We are back once again, my man. I'm very, very happy to be here. The news is flying at a fever pitch all around us. The news is newsing.
I want to say, though, at the top of the show, the money it's not going to Norris Howard's EMA slush fund.
It should, but it's not.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. It's there to support all of us.
Right. Well, and if you'd like to buy Norris some EMA,
yeah,
you'll take a gift card.
I will take a gift card, or I don't know, just meet me. I'm there all the dang on time, so just meet me there. And you know what? I just want to say this. I love being a regular somewhere. It's really nice. Like, that's part of what I love about being back home is that I go to EMA and word to the servers and the bartenders there, because at this point I walk in and my man just had my hot sake ready for me. Like, it's just there. He already know what time it is. I want the sake and I want the spicy tori with chicken, no egg. Let's get it. You know, I love that, man. It's a really warm, welcoming feeling.
What used to be my neighborhood bar when I lived in North Corktown was Nancy Whiskey.
We love Nancy Whiskey.
But back then, this was before all of the new folks working at a mortgage lender came in.
Before New Corktown.
And this is when, like, if you drive through North Corktown now, it looks very different.
Yeah.
Many new buildings.
Yes, indeed.
I had many new pheasants when I was there.
Yes.
And back then,
much grazing.
The vibe was a little different some years ago. And I remember taking my dog to the bar, because you could do that back then.
That's right.
That's not as much of a thing anymore. But back then, they'd have that big yard. You could take the dog to the big yard and get yourself a little something and enjoy your after work time. That Detroit,
weirdo bankruptcy Detroit is like, because, like, remember Goat Man?
Of course.
You had Goat Man. You had
I was staying in University District when the kangaroo hopped through it. That was 2 blocks from my house.
Yeah, the Black Horseman used to be all over the city.
He's still out, though.
I know he's still out.
There's a cow, too.
Yes, I've seen the cow.
The cow is there over on Livernois.
Yes. But that's what I'm saying. But like all of these legends came to the fore during bankruptcy Detroit, when it was still, to quote Charlie LaDuff, occupied by feral hippies and a few other college students.
Let's get into the news, because there is an important update to a story we have been following. President Donald Trump has granted automakers a 1-month exemption from tariffs. This is according to multiple reports. This is after meetings with Stellantis, Ford, and General Motors. This 25% tariffs they'll be waived for a month. It is interesting. The stock market is already up as we're recording this. It is interesting to see this move so fast. There's been telegraphing that there would be some softness with some of these moves pretty quick, because the stock market did react quickly. I have been doing reporting, talking to people since this whole story's been going, even though it's not been every episode. I've still been working on this. Spending by a lot of people I know is frozen. It's paralyzed right now because of the uncertainty. And I think that's not a good sign. I'm not trying to make this partisan, but the money talks.
Yeah, the money talks, and it spoke to, the president over the past 48 hours. Listen, when you have reports coming out saying that the cost of motor vehicles could go up anywhere between $8,000 to $10,000, $12,000 in some of the higher estimates that I've heard.
There was a Fox News interview where a truck dealer said it was going to go up 20,000.
Yeah, 20,000. Again, pickup truck. Y'all know my feelings on pickup trucks. But anyway, my thing is that seeing the cost of motor vehicles go up by that much caused so much shock to the market that I think it behooved the government to look at this again. And now there's going to be a month delay on this. And to be perfectly honest with you, seeing how the stock market rebounded now as we're recording, it's up. It's made a 500-point rebound. Like, that's kind of nuts. Yeah, this may be a can we see get kicked down the road a few more times, to be honest with you. But this is a major development in a story that really could have had major impact and implications in Metro Detroit.
And this is in the shadow of a lot of feedback we got from that episode.
Yeah.
A flock of Canadian feedback.
Norris Howard. It the geese? You know how I feel about the geese.
How do you feel about geese?
I respect and love all animals, and I only wish the love and preservation of all of our furry, feathered friends. But geese, those are jerks. Those are actual jerks, okay? They hiss at you. They bite you. They don't let you walk into your car. They do all the things that like a 1980s street gang do. Like, you ever watch The Warriors? That's geese.
Have you seen the Goose Game?
Yes, Untitled Goose Game. Come on, Jerry. Have I seen Untitled Goose Game?
Have you played Untitled Goose?
Absolutely have I played Untitled Goose Game.
Do you hate the geese because you are a goose?
No, I know what the geese are capable of. That's why.
The Canadians don't like me, Norris Howard.
Yeah, I hear that.
I've got a line of feedback from our tariffs episode.
Okay, but why? Why are they mad at you? I thought that was a really measured episode.
Hey, Daily Crew, first-time listener from Canada, found you on Spotify. How do you Americans not know what tariffs are? We had to learn this in school. This is from Evie.
Oh, we did learn this in school. Just half the country ain't pay attention.
I think of that clip from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. They're in the school. They're very bored by the lesson. You know what they're talking about? Tariffs. And that's how a lot of people felt. Now, I was the kind of person who got excited about writing an economic plan for South America in my middle school years.
Oh, yeah.
But that was not the majority of people.
No.
At all. And was it the Hawley Smoot tariffs or whatever regime?
That. Yeah. But the point is that the average American, no, they do not know anything about tariffs. And you know what, Canada? I'm going to agree with you. I wish, don't direct it at Jer, because Jer does know what tariff is.
I mean, I mentioned that there were some things that I learned in that conversation. And I think we need to be okay with the idea that I can be vulnerable in public.
And the idea that you just cannot know something and learn it. That's okay.
On YouTube, and I'm sorry that the username is kind of unpronounceable because there's a bunch of numbers and things. Yeah. Canuck here, agog at the ignorance. Only now do you ask how tariffs work? Then say things like, it gets complicated. I'm not sure I understand. Really? I hate to even suggest it, but spend some time researching potash because that one commodity has the potential to break your nation.
It's true. He's absolutely correct. The average American has no idea what potash is. The average, I would argue the average human doesn't know what potash is that lives in a Western society. But let me just explain something here, is that when you have created a global economy that is so interwoven between virtually every nation on earth, and you receive most of the end product, like, let's be honest, America receives most of the end product of the global economy, there is no incentive for most people to care. They just go to the grocery store and they see that there are avocados in December. But I agree from the sense that we should know what tariffs are, and some people do. I know what tariffs are. Jared knows what tariffs are.
Well, apparently, Jer, you're an idiot for running a show and not knowing what tariffs are. Sorry, from Thunder Bay.
Okay, first of all, guys, there's a such thing, my Canadian friends, is called being a vessel for the audience, and to ask questions that you may already know the answers to, but to inform those who don't know.
I also think sometimes, many times, all the time, experts are smarter than me.
Yes.
You know where I learned a little bit of that technique?
Where?
From my Canadian father, watching the CBC as a child.
Canada, listen, we know y'all got a lot of reason to be upset with us, all right? But I'm going to just say this, y'all, okay? We right next door. Can we not deliver that energy to us?
Oh, there's more. Seems like they'll give anyone a microphone in the States, including Trump, a Trump shill like Jer. And that's from John.
What?
Yep. Here's another one. Great show. Windsor here. What the hell? You all don't know what tariffs are. No wonder we are in this mess.
Y'all need to get some money. But listen, and I want everybody, I want Canada, I want the rest of y'all to be I want y'all all to really listen to me when I say this, is that our education sucks. No, I'm serious, right? And there are a lot of people who have to learn things informally. Jared's not one of them. Jared absolutely knows what a tariff is and how it works. And I've said that 3 times, but I'm going to just ask y'all, okay? We have not freed ourselves from the yoke of rugged individualism, okay? There are many, many people in this country who believe most people who believe that whatever system of belief, whatever that they learn, whatever that they have latched onto is gospel, and they will never let go of it. That is majority of this country. I am asking you, Canadians, a country which I have much respect for, to please, please, please have patience with some of us over here in the Minton, because we are trying our best, okay? We are beating back all sorts of stuff, and we are just trying to hold it together, okay? We need y'all.
One more feedback for you.
Okay.
Lisa from Ottawa. You're the stupidest person on a microphone. Sorry, it's true. How can you or your listeners not know what tariffs are and how they'll hurt? Why is your president fighting with an ally? Are you a secret Trump supporter? Seems like all the other media has bent the knee too.
I really need y'all to read between the lines, and also not just listen to one episode in a vacuum. But listen,
I bend the knee to no one. I'm going to be 100% clear here.
Yeah, that's
people. I get yelled at, and I know from data that people from a variety of political backgrounds listen to us.
Yeah,
I don't bend the knee to anyone, because the truth is the truth. The facts are the facts. I don't love politicians. I love people, and the goal of politicians and policy is to serve us, which means that whether or not I personally agree with you or not, I'm going to hold you accountable, and I'm going to ask questions.
Well, and I mean, like, we could go tit for tat. We could do all sorts of stuff. Like, how do you not know that the church was up there abducting natives and indoctrinating them and torturing them for many years? Like, we can go back and forth with how terrible our nations are. Like, let's not do that. Like, what we should be doing is we should be collaborating on how do we make the situation better, and how are we able to mitigate the impacts of some of these things that are happening, because I can assure you, not everyone in this nation agrees with what's happening, and many of the people who didn't agree are going to be very negatively affected, along with some of the people who did. Well, Jared, I do got some other more localized news to share with you. Something that I think our listeners will be put at ease about in Metro Detroit. And that is, at least in the city of Detroit, Detroit City Council has unanimously voted to approve an ordinance that will reduce the number of marijuana and vape advertisements across the city. This was sponsored by Scott Benson and Angela Winfield Calloway. They're going to have to be a certain amount of distance away from childcare centers, parks, libraries, playgrounds. Listen, basically, it's going to drastically reduce where you could put a marijuana advertisement in the city.
So much of the inventory is taken up by marijuana advertisements. I learned this. We did a billboard for a short time. And by the way, if you want to help out, JaredDailyDetroit.com, we'd actually love to do another billboard campaign, but we need money for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the reasons we did it was I wanted to break up the landscape between the lawyer ads and the marijuana ads. And I'm not here to hate lawyers, and I'm not here to hate marijuana.
Yeah.
But I feel like we need, this is my personal opinion. I know you delivered the news there. My personal opinion is we should have a diversity of things that we're trying to sell people. Because if all you see are marijuana ads and lawyer ads, it gives people away. Like when advertising works. And so when you repeat the same thing over and over again, that here in Detroit, you don't usually see billboards that are beautiful for Ford or General Motors here.
Mm-mm.
You should, even as a civic pride thing.
Yeah.
But you don't.
No, because all the inventory is taken up by Mark Savaya.
And you can buy some of the stuff, especially digital billboards. There's stuff you can do pretty effectively, actually. But I think it's important to have a little bit of, I very much am for free speech, but I definitely think it's also important to make sure our collective spaces have a balance of things.
Well, and also, like, you know, I hate to put it this way, but like, let's just think about it from this perspective, right? The billboards in the city can be used to also disseminate valuable municipal information as well, or information that helps people get to resources, the information that helps people to learn about new things happening in the city. There was a stretch of 8 Mile at one point that had 5 marijuana billboards in a row. And I have no diss against marijuana. I have no crusade against marijuana. If you want to smoke, go off, right? Do all the smoking you want, right? I'm all for that. But at the same time, I would be at the same level of alarm if it was 5 gun store advertisements in a row, or 5 alcohol or beer advertisements in a row. I just think, you know, to your point, I just think it's a little bit overkill.
We only really had the budget to do that ad in Corktown.
Yeah.
Every other billboard behind ours was marijuana.
Yeah.
Every single one. And I want us to think about,
we sell more stuff.
I want us to think about messages, not in a Pollyannish way, but in an uplifting way, that there are options.
Yeah.
There are options, whether it is, you know, commerce, whether it is nonprofits, all that kind of stuff. And I know it's a free market. I know that in order to fix this problem, you know what I could do?
Spend money,
which I don't have. But if I had $1,000 a month to like go do it, I could help be more of that problem. And that's what this world requires.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
And so I feel like we have to think about ways to make more of that go, so we can build the kind of city and region that we want, and kind of break ourselves out of a sad loop I have seen over the years.
Well, and the thing about it is that, you know, Jerry, I was in New York a few weeks ago. I don't recall seeing not one marijuana advertisement. Marijuana is legal in New York City.
There were lawyer billboards, though, I'm sure.
1 or 2.
But not as many. I noticed that when I was in Chicago, too.
Nowhere near as many. 1 or 2, you know, and many of them for stuff like immigration services and stuff like that, which makes sense for New York. But I cannot recall not one marijuana billboard. And yet, around just about every corner was a head shop. So, you know.
It makes me think about the ways that we share with the public are so important. Why it's so important that we're doing, you know, we've got the sold out event for 313 Day Trivia at Tokororo coming up on the 13th.
Word to everybody who got a ticket to trivia, by the way.
Yeah, we're going to put together something good for you. We're also going to work on some prizes.
Yes, sir.
What people see in their physical space matters.
Absolutely. Like that is why buildings look the way they look.
So I want to encourage our listeners, some of which I know do a lot of interesting things. Let's work together to show all the cool things that Detroiters and Detroit stuff can do, and say, hey, there's so many ways that I see people spend money on all kinds of crazy things. What about the crazy idea of uplifting, like, the message around here a little bit? Not in like a Pollyannish way, but like, show your stuff. What is cool? Like, I want to see it. Like, I want to be places where it's you're going down the freeway and, oh wow, I never knew this cool thing was in Detroit.
Yeah.
Right?
I would be majorly in favor of that, and I think this ordinance that has just gone down will help with that, and people are going to be able to share more about the different attractions and goods and services available to the people of the city of Detroit. And, you know, and I hope this spreads to the surrounding communities, because again, I have nothing against the marijuana industry, but I do have something against one industry dominating the one of the vehicles of advertising in the city and in the region. I find that to be weird. So I am happy to see that this has come down, and I hope to see more billboards for other things, hopefully not guns. But hey, the market is the market, and here we are.
Well, if you've got feedback, let me know. dailydetroit@gmail.com or 313-789-3211. A reminder, we have our survey out, very important, our listener, follower, reader survey to learn more about you so that we can build a better Daily Detroit. You can find that at dailydetroit.com/survey. Norris Howard, so good to see you.
It's always good to be here.
With that, I'm Jairus Days. Thank you so much for listening to your Daily Detroit. Leave 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. Remember that you are somebody. We'll see you around town.